I'm going to tell you why he feels threatened. And K-Dub and I, again, we always say that we talked about this because we really did. We really did. Last week, I saw a story here on NBC Channel 12.
Right.
I'm going to call them out.
All right.
NBC Channel 12.
Yeah.
NBC Channel 12. I saw a story that they had on their website that was some West End houses that were being robbed. They interviewed a white woman, and I'm going to make sure that I put out these people's races, and you'll understand why when I'm finished telling the story. But interviewed a white woman whose face they spot shadowed out, and when they asked her about the perpetrators, she said that the perpetrators that were robbing the houses was allegedly a Caucasian male in his middle-aged white dude in work clothes, as if he belonged there. This is basically this is a paraphrase, almost a direct quote. But as they're telling you the story, they're showing a black man peeping in the apartments. So let me set that up for you. They're showing you a black man peeping in windows as they're telling you a story about a white man who's robbing houses. So the reason why I bring that up is because when I saw it, I was outraged. I was absolutely outraged when I saw it. And I was so outraged that, as I normally do when I see something on the news that pisses me off, I wrote a letter or an email to the news director as well as the reporter, Dub. And when I wrote it, I was surprised because normally when I write this particular station, they don't respond to me. CBS responds to me, but NBC almost never responds to me when I write to them. And they responded immediately that they apologized for, how offensive it was, and they took it down, and they did in fact take it down. But my question, Doug, or my point, I should say, is that anybody that's seeing that, they can listen all they want about how this alleged perpetrator was a middle-aged white dude in his 40s in work clothes as if he belonged there, but what they're actually seeing is a young black male as a peeping Tom. To that you say what, kid up?
That is what media has been doing since, I don't even know, it's your subconscious. I'll give you a quick example. If I say immigrants, what's the first thing you think about?
You're going to think about a Latin American.
The guy that's cut my lawn.
Okay, right. When you talk about when they talk about welfare, first thing comes to your mind.
You're going to think of the black kids, black ladies.
Okay. So this is what I'm saying to you, is that no matter how they may want to frame things, the media and what we see on TV is what is framing your idea, is framing your mind around what you need to be scared of. When they say terrorists, what's the first thing that you probably think of?
Arab.
Okay, but we got terrorists right here, and they wear blue. They got badges and stuff.
Amen.
Yeah, and we executed Timothy McVeigh. He was a terrorist.
Exactly. So it's all about where and how. I'll give you even one more example. I have been watching this all day today, and Mark, I told you, I said all day today they have been talking about the people rioting and they was wilding out and burning down the store and doing all this other stuff, but not one person actually said, okay, what made these people do that? What was the gist of why these people were wilding out? They never even addressed.
What network were you watching?
They never addressed that he was shot multiple times. They never addressed that they didn't have a weapon on him. But the whole day today was these people out here wow.
AKA Renee is asking what network you were watching.
I was watching CNN, and the only reason why I was watching CNN is because I was cycling through Fox and MSNBC. They weren't even talking about it. They was talking about what's going over in Israel and over in Iraq. It wasn't until about
because Fox and NBC.
It wasn't until about 5:36. I'm sorry. MSNBC jumped on it around 2:30, 3 o'clock.
That's because Fox and MSNBC, those are the right wing stations, so they don't care about the black community.
Well, the MSNBC they would call themselves. They would call themselves the left. Basically, the way I interpret how they interpret themselves is Fox. Of course, they make no mystery of them being far right wing, and then MSNBC being far left, and CNN supposedly straddles the middle. I think they straddle a little bit to the left side of the middle is my personal opinion. But I do find it curious that MSNBC never touched this. I'm not surprised that Fox didn't
They
touch
touched it around they touched
Right.
it around 3 o'clock.
Right,
around
late-
3 o'clock.
later in the day.
Let me throw something else out there in regards to media. Let's keep in mind the situation with old girl that got shot by the white guy who was just I guess he.
Renisha McBride. Renisha McBride.
You got the guy who got into a car crash in North Carolina and got shot by the cops.
Yep.
You got the guy up in New York that just got choked out.
Eric Garner.
And you got maybe even Trayvon Martin, and then this situation today.
And then the grandma in L.A. that got accosted by the LAPD cop.
Now, check this out. You know what all of those, one common theme of all of those, if it wasn't for the fact that people had cell phone cameras and social media, we would probably not even know about all of that I just named.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, I can dig
Well, as being married to somebody who works in the media, who actually works at CNN, it's very hard for them to have camera crews all over the place on a moment's notice.
They rely on that.
Right.
Yeah, they rely. They
Exactly.
actually have something called the Eye Reporter and CNN Eye, and they'll take whatever you videotape or whatever photos you send them, and they put it on the air. So, I don't
I'm
know.
glad you said that.
I kind of get a little offended when people start bashing the media because I know the other side of it from being married to somebody that works in media. And I see how hard he works to make sure that,
It's fair and balanced.
pretty much. But it's
Hey,
never going to be
Renee.
completely fair and balanced to the public's liking. That's just never going to happen.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No.
No,
I
you
mean,
good. Go ahead, K-Dog.
You good. Go ahead.
I'm glad you brought that up because you know what? Today on CNN, LZ Granderson,
Right.
he said that, and I'm kind of paraphrasing how he said it. He said, you know what? I work for CNN and I love working for CNN. But when I go to them and I want them to do a story on 35 people getting killed in Chicago, he said that he gets the response, nobody wants to hear that. We're tired of talking about that. But he was like, how are you tired of talking about people getting killed? I mean, we put a whole bunch of we put a whole bunch of attention on genocide going on in other countries, but yet we don't want to take that same anger and same interest in stuff that's happening in our own local neighborhood.
I want to speak on some a little bit in regards to this topic of police brutality and killing people of color, and widen the net of the argument a little bit. Just indulge me, listeners. What would possess you, whether you're a cop or you're a civilian, to take another person's life? Now, somebody would ask me, I'll ask that question to myself. Somebody wants to do harm to my family, or I just straight out hate your guts and want to see you snuffed out. Those are only the two things that I would do. Now, to speak about these cops, these cops that's out here committing these murders, they not hurt. Nobody's out there getting at their family. Unless they connected to the mob or something like that. So what would possess them, or what would possess them to go out and kill innocent till proven guilty individuals, people of color? Well, first of all, I think that they have, and this is just my opinion, they have an innate fear. And fear is a son of a gun because fear will make you do stuff. The young lady that went up to the white man's house because her car broke down, and he said he shot her because he thought that somebody was trying to break into his house. He shot her out of fear. Well, I'm going to tell you what makes that trigger finger a little bit easier. If your complexion don't match his, then that fear goes up 10 times. And I always wanted to ask, I ask my white friends this all the time, is where is this fear coming from? Why do you feel like you got to be afraid? Honestly, I think it's as simple as the reason why Obama got in office in 08.
I'm going to tell you that fear comes from constant brainwashing that they get every single time they turn on the television, where you can hear a story, you can hear them telling you a story about a white man committing crimes in a neighborhood, but while they're telling you that, they're showing you a black man doing it.
I want to jump in here for a second. I have a friend who's a cop, Jersey City. Well, he'll remain nameless.
Of course.
But I had to unfollow him on Facebook because a lot of his posts were, he was working in a black community.
Right.
Okay. And a lot of his posts were, very negative, calling black folks animals and savages.
Right.
And mind you, he's one of us. He's
What?
a minority.
Get out.
Okay, and he's
Black card.
referring to black folks like that. Excuse me. So I had to kind of distance myself from him because I really feel when he joined the force, he was brainwashed.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can get brainwashed into thinking that you protect and serve and protect. Man, please. Look, I tell you this. This goes out to the world. Please, I'll do that bid. I mean, y'all might be like Grizz might be talking. I'll do that bid. Walk up in my crib. I ain't like everybody else. I ain't like everybody else. As long as my family good, I'm good.
That's how some folks are, though. I mean, again, it's a lot of it has to do with the brainwashing and the systematic. I said this on the show many times that people commit crimes where they live. So if you're an Asian person and you live in Chinatown, you can probably rob, a Chinaman. I probably shouldn't say Chinaman. Following Jay Grizzy. And following Jay Grizzy.
So you can't use comedy because you're not gonna be leave that to the comedian.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess my point is if for whatever reason, well, I guess if we study history, we'll understand the reason. But this is what they want to do.
They're fearful. I think non-people of color, white folk, are fearful of the big payback.
But
that's what they just fearful of that.
But I also think that the ones who are, you have these cops like Detective Santiago. They want to go in and they want to make a difference in the community. And remember, he was only on the force for a matter of, 6 months or so, right? So he has this zest to make things better. But over time, 5, 10, 15 years down the line, he's still on the force. Now all of a sudden, you're brainwashed. You're brainwashed to dislike the community you serve. You're brainwashed to fear the community you serve. You're brainwashed to, if they don't answer right on the first question, boom, shoot them.
I got an interesting comment that we're getting from Mr. LP, Steven Sykes, host of Enliven Radio, heard right here on Legacy Internet Radio every single Tuesday night from 7 to 9. K-Dub, I want your opinion on this one first. Mr. LP says that we're just as guilty for also supporting music that depicts us in negative ways, such as rap music and music videos. We're just as guilty. We're just as guilty. To that, you say what?
Yo, check this out, bro. Rap music and all of that ain't got nothing to do with homeboy getting shot or homegirl up in Michigan getting shot. I feel where you're coming from in regards to holding ourselves accountable, but keep in mind that there's one common thing that we're talking about. We're talking about police brutality against people of color. When you don't have a respect for individuals, these are the things that happen.
But see, I'm going to disagree with Stephen because the cops are taught to protect and serve. Music is a form of artistic expression. So therefore, you can't hold all the musicians accountable because they may speak of some negative things in their music.
All right, now, Grizzy, go ahead.
How we know that homeboy listen to rap music?
Right.
Any situation or what have you. I can't agree with you, see.
Grizzy, get a comment in, and then I'm going to make a statement, and then I'm going to let the man himself speak. Grizzy.
With that point, then Vincent Van Gogh and all the lovers of Vincent Van Gogh art should be covering their ears up to this day. Like, it's just art. Rap music is an expression of what we do and what we see going on a lot of times. It's not indicative. If a cop is gonna pull me over tonight because I'm pumping too short, that's a sad. We're in a crazy living world we live in.
I can dig it. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den of Legacy Internet Radio. We are in fact the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio, heard every single Monday from 7 to 9:30. You can hear us right here on TuneIn as well as on our replays on YouTube. I'm not going to defend Steven's comments. I'll give him an opportunity to do that as well. I'm not going to agree or disagree, but I will say this. Our community is the only community that I know of that has been given that burden. For example, if you listen to some of the rock music songs, if you listen to some heavy metal songs, if you watch some of the movies that we all grew up watching in the 80s, some of our favorite movies are some of the most violent and vile movies that you get. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone were two of my favorite actors when I was growing up, and I still love them to this day. But Has anybody watched Commando or Rambo?
Snuffed them
I
out.
mean, those are very,
Those are
very, very, very,
terrorist
those are
Snuffed out a whole
terroristic
bunch of
type of
Vietnamese.
crazy stuff. And so when someone presents to me the argument that, you know, because we perpetuate our own negative stereotypes, this is the reason why we're treated this way, I cry foul on that, because it's unfair. And it's unfair because this is a burden that is not laid upon other folks. And the last thing I'll say is this on this. When Ice-T came out with the song Cop Killer in 1992, everybody made a big deal. He got dropped by Warner Brothers. It just basically destroyed his music career. I mean, we know there was a heavy metal song, not a rap song, but it basically destroyed his music career. Thankfully for him, he was a fairly decent actor. But nobody ever stepped back and said, why did he make a song called Cop Killer? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And if you listen to the song, which, you know, say what you want about me, but I bought the Body Count album. I like rock music, and Cop Killer is one of my favorite songs on the album, because if you listen to the lyrics, it's a fantasy about getting back at a cop that did him dirty. So with that being said, the man made a statement. The man made a statement through social media, but he's actually in the room, so I'll give him an opportunity to express himself. We got Mr. LP, host of Unarmed Radio on Legacy Internet Radio every single Tuesday from 7 to 9. He's in the building. Mr. LP, you heard the responses to your comment to them. You say what?
I would extremely disagree, and I'll say this for a reason why. I'm not saying, when I make that comment, I'm not making it to excuse by any means of what they're doing. But knowing that it's just the same thing as knowing that, should I have a right to go out at 2 o'clock in the morning and walk up and down the street in the neighborhood, knowing that it's a bad neighborhood and
Yes.
I'm a good person?
I have that right.
I have a right, but why put yourself in my situation? My issue is, why put yourself in a bad situation?
Because I got big balls, that's why.
That may be fine, but the issue is that I'm not saying that people have an artistic right of expression, but anybody that knows me I would say the same thing for rock music, where a lot of them will get in trouble. And if you walk into a bunch of hair metal band and you have wild hair, and knowing their history of trashy hotels, I can understand where someone, I don't agree, but I can understand where they get that image because of all the things that was put out there. It's the same thing as now. Now us, because is unfair, yes, but we are the minority. We're number 3 and sinking fast. So why not put a positive image? We have a president, whether you agree with him or not. We have somebody that's we have plenty of positive images of powerful black or any other minority group out there, but we still uplift the thuggery, we still uplift the debauchery, we still uplift all the other different things out there. And now, I'm not saying that it's all our fault. I never would say that.
We don't own none of them companies that put it out.
But we
Exactly.
own our artistic
we're
expression.
not,
I can't sit here and say, I can't sit up in here and say F the police and do all my videos about sleeping and jumping with hoes and everything else, and then my kid is shot for walking down the street, and then I want to say, hey, well, we thought he was thugging, but then I'm out there doing my music. That's just not right, and it's not fair. We are just, in a lot of ways, we assisted in helping this image. Now, that cop and all these other people are dead wrong, and I will march with the families to the day I die for that. But we also have to take accountability. What are we doing in order to help change the image?
Just walking down the street with
But-
some Skittles.
We have to do more to change our
music-
image. Are we doing enough? No.
I agree with what you're saying, Stephen. What you're saying is not strategically wrong. It's not. But historically,
That's a second conversation after you.
well,
correct the
it is,
That's
but it is. But historically, when you look at, historically, when you look at how we have been treated and portrayed, we are not the ones ultimately responsible for how we're treated.
But we don't sign the check. We're treated a certain way, yes. But we're always keeps blaming the man or the record companies or whoever. But that don't mean we have to go out there and do it for the sake of I want to get ahead, so I'm going to make this sacrifice.
So where
Don't
am I
do
going
that.
to get my Big
But
Buddha
you-
Hole videos from? Where am I going to get them from?
But hold on,
Okay,
hey,
but
Stephen, let me
you-
ask
I got a
you
few
question.
places.
Hold on. We're all talking. Hold on. We're all talking. We're all talking at once.
I'm sorry.
We're all talking at once. So we're only gonna have one person talk at one time. Renee, you got the floor. What you got?
Okay, you keep referring to this whole music thing. And I don't know if you're referring to people like Lil Wayne or if you're referring to people like Justin Bieber, but all these you know, you can't tie in music to the social injustices that are going on. It's just not fair. You know, because music is an artistic form of expression. Period.
They was beating brothers' heads in with billy clubs
Before
when you had
rap was
Little
even
Richard.
invented.
Yeah, I agree with that.
People were getting
Kato,
their ass whooped when Marvin Gaye was singing "What's Going On."
Exactly.
that's why he was singing what's
Yeah.
going on.
So I don't think I got.
So I mean, you can't tie that together. That's unfair.
Dub, you were getting ready to say something. You got the floor until I give it back to Steven.
What I was going to say is that, you know, that I think that is unfair, because check this out. That means that you're only saying that we're only hip hop artists. There's a number of jazz musicians. There's a number of neo soul musicians. There's a number of musicians that have popularity. What it is that what you're referring to as far as, you know, the degrading of women, so on and so forth. You know what? You can't. I understand you can blame us because we are the ones making that music. But here's the thing: they're only making that music because, one, the record producers, record companies, radio program people or whatever, they will not give those individuals a shine unless they did that. So basically, you're selling your soul to that. But those particular individuals that I just named don't look like me or anybody in that room.
To that you say what, Steven?
So if you want to have a change, let's say on radio or on television, we need to address those individuals. One example, check this out. Nobody ever, when you have rappers that have a beef between each other, nobody sits down Jimmy Iovine or what's the other dude and be like, yo, nobody such as those individuals that run those companies pull those two rappers in the same room and be like, yo, y'all need to cut it out. They fuel it. They keep it going because you know what?
Jimmy Iovine and Leo Cohen.
But you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
But here's my answer. I got 3 answers to that. Because one, we fuel it because we give it to them. If we don't give it to them, we don't. There won't be nothing to fuel. And I never said anything about all those other music genres. But if you want to put it to the point, what's out there in terms of black community overall? What is the popular aspect
Rap
of
music.
it? Okay, but then what's the level of aspect of rap music that's popular? Debauchery.
The
Who's
trap-
putting
the-
it
the
up?
trap.
Now, who is putting now? Here's the fact that remains when you use
Hold on,
music,
Doug.
people follow us no matter what because we're not the majority of anything. So as a lot of them are buying it because we made it popular, we made it fun. So then they're going to go out there and buy it. And my thing is you're looking at the aspect of low hanging fruit. That's all what they gonna give us, so then we just took it. No, that don't mean you have to do it. If that was the case, we would not have been where we gotten so far.
All right,
on
I'm
civil
gonna
rights and
stop.
everything
I'm
else.
gonna stop
There's
you.
no way.
No,
I'm
I
going. I'm
don't
gonna
think-
stop.
I
Hold
don't
up,
think
Dub.
that
Hold
even
on,
has
Dub.
anything to do with
Hold on,
like
Dub.
AIDS.
Hold on, Dub. Hold on. I'm gonna stop you because I want to move on, but I am going to address what you said. When you look at a multi-pronged attack on our communities, when you start with things like no jobs, and you start with things like poverty, and you start with things like the influx of drugs in the neighborhoods, and you start with those types of things, which will eventually lead to having that scarlet letter of having a felony. And so once you have a felony on you, then you can't get a job. And then if you can't get a job, then you're more likely to commit crimes. If you're more likely to commit crimes, you're going to be in jail, and things of that sort. You start thinking about all of those kinds of things, and then you start infusing things. How do I get money? How do I get money? I sell drugs. I don't want to do that. How else can I get money? I'll make a rap song. Okay, I'll make a rap song. And then you get in there and they're like, well, I need you to make these kinds of rap songs. We don't want you wearing them African medallions and empowering your people, because we need them people to continue doing the stuff that got you here to begin with, because you do got a felony and you can't get a real job. So we need you to make bullshit rap. So when you continue to make bullshit rap, that's what feeds the beast, and that's where it continues to snowball, because you know what else you're doing? You paying. You giving me money. I ain't got to go get a 9 to 5. I'm getting money. Now your response logically could be, well, why not have a greater moral spirit? I understand that, but the truth of the matter is, you cannot move in this world unless you got some money. That's just the reality. That's just the reality. And so you can say that don't mean you got to wild out all you want, but you're not being realistic when you say that.
I am being realistic.
You're not.
I'll give you.
You're not being realistic, Steven. I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you.
music.
And look, stop. I'm not going to let you pontificate on nonsense on this show. I'm not going to do it.
That's the honest reason, because if to be honest, that's the same mentality that those who would say, "Oh, we're never going to get an opportunity to read, so just don't be going." We have to keep fighting. We have to keep going. We have to keep making opportunities.
We
for
talking
ourselves.
about realism. We talking about we talking about.
We have to get out there and vote.
I
we
hear
have
you.
to do all these other different things.
You know
We
why
don't
you say?
have to do
You know
that.
why you say we need to get out there and vote? Because he said we need to get out there and vote.
I've been saying
That's
that
why.
for you to know.
Right, I understand.
I've been
But when I
saying
say
that for
he,
years.
I'm saying the man.
Yep.
You know, the reality is, the reality,
can I-
hold up, let me make this point, Dub, I'm going to come to you. The reality is economic power is how we fix this problem. Economic power is how we fix this problem.
We agree
And
on that.
if we continue to lay blame on those people who are the oppressed ones, we're going to continue to have problems. Dub, I'm going to give you the last word on this because we need to move on and take our next bait. So, Dub, you got the last word, my brother. What you got?
All right, hey Stephen, I will venture to ask you this one thing. With the cases that we talked about, Sean Bell, a lot of other cases, what with the police brutality that has gone on with those particular individuals and the number of individuals that we named previously, what role does music have in the brutality that they faced from the...
My point, you missed my point. My point was that we have...
Go ahead,
That
Doug.
wasn't really the question that I asked, but go ahead.
No, okay. Your question is that what role is it? Does a lot, because I'm not saying that there's not other avenues they could see or come up with their own negative image. But if you cut out some, which is our level of our participation, because there's two wrongs. We're not totally innocent in this. Is my point in this is that now that does not excuse what they did. They were wrong, and those people were purely innocent. But still, we as a community could do more of placating positive things, encouraging other things. There's no reason Wayne, any of those other guys will be up there. Now, she mentioned Justin Bieber because they're the majority. There's enough of images of both sides, good and bad, but there's not enough of us because we don't push it up.
I got you. I disagree with you, but I got you.
That's
We don't have time to go back and
How we know
forth
that young
on it.
dude
But
wasn't a jazz artist or something like that?
I
If I go out right
no.
now and go get my ass beat by a cop, that ain't got nothing to do with the music. That's them. That's them. I could listen to Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, whoever, whatever like that. But if I don't, if I just walk out my house and I get harassed, I'm not really seeing how that assimilates to, you know, the whole thing about, you know, creating a bigger image and holding people.
I got you.
Which
I got
agree
your point, Steven. I got you. Dub, I got you as well. I think, and I'm going to take the last word on this. I mean, ultimately, where you run into a problem with me is when you see a problem, you see an oppression, and you see a system that is designed to keep us in our place. We choose to pick sides, and when we pick sides, we find ourselves on the wrong side. Instead of jumping on the side of pointing the finger at the ones that are doing the greatest wrong, the oppression wrong, we want to come and say, but if we hadn't been doing this, they wouldn't do this to us. To me, that's unacceptable. And I think that's the point that you're getting against you, Stephen. Ain't no half step on Marcus J. Dub, we're going to go ahead and end the segment and get on the hell up on out of here. So I'm going to let you say your ending salutations, and we're going to leave it there.
Yo, peace to everybody in the studio. You know what I'm saying? I look forward to seeing y'all soon or what have you. And
man, you just talking shit. You ain't coming here. You just talking.
That's cool. That's cool. Whatever. We can put money on it, but you better have my money. But look,
you just come.
everybody that can hear my voice, peace and love to you. And just on the real sad note, I think I told you, Mark, or whatever.
Yes.
Some people may or may not know. Robin Williams passed away earlier today.
Yeah.
I'll just say rest in peace, Robin Williams. Man.
Rest in peace, Robin Williams. He
Nanu.
He gave me a lot of joy with Mork and Mindy, Mrs. Doubtfire. I actually was one of the few people who watched the TV show The Crazy Ones that he had on the air last season. It was fun. I enjoyed the show. I just liked him, so that's the reason why I watched it.
Hey Mark, 5 seconds real quick. Me personally, I've had a number of people within the last week or whatever either lose a family member, or I just lost someone this weekend or what have you as a friend or what have you, my guidance counselor. So again, I said this before and I say it again. Everybody, listen, man. Call your friends, hug your family, tell them that you love them, because you never know what can happen tomorrow.
All right, my brother.
Man, peace.
Some more to be, my brother.
All right, Smo to be. Peace, everybody.
All right, ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. That's your man, K-Dub. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we are going to get our sister, SY, to rejoin the show, and she's going to help make us healthy as she does every single week. Later on in the show, we will ask the question, what the hell? We got some religious base, what the hell, that's really going to have you kind of ticking your head to the side and saying, what the hell is going on with that rabbi and the circumcisions? And y'all not trying to have these people have their funeral in your church? What's the matter with that? And the Christian leader that says that something going on right now is going to purge the world of gays and all kinds of atheists and all kinds of stuff. So we still got all of that coming. And you know how Step with Marcus J with my sister from Jersey City, New Jersey. DJ Renee Melendez is in the building along with the Legacy Internet Radio crew. Ain't no how Step with Marcus J. Be back in a minute.